tell you guys some lore about Nick Riqueta? Or should I wait a little bit until more people join the chat? Can we do a little bit of both? Like maybe get 50 people in here, and then I'll tell you some lore about my friend Nick Riqueta. In the meantime, we already got 47 people. I can tell you the lore. So I was in a chat room with many content creators, and I popped the question: how many of you stream like a savage? Like, how many of you wear pants while streaming? Because it's, you know, there's no reason to wear pants. You're in your bedroom or your studio or whatever, right? You want to be comfortable. The camera is neck up anyway. Like, who wears pants while streaming? Turns out Nick wears pants. Like, he is even wearing those pants where you can't see the bulge. Like, he's very careful. The conversation started because of Vic Mignogna, you know, the guy who got canceled, Dragon Ball, voice of Broly, right? He was on a stream with two ladies, and he accidentally dropped the camera, and people could see his underwear. Now, of course, social justice activists started making that as, oh my god, like he was trying to sexually harass the ladies or anything. But it's obvious it was a boomer moment, like the camera just went down. And, you know, like, I don't blame him, because I'm like, who streams with their pants on? Like, no one streams with their pants on. Like, it's not a studio, you're in your house, right? And apparently the overwhelming majority of content creators, and now you know, you watch Jeremy from the Cornering, like, you watch any of these content creators that are in their house, they're streaming without pants, I'm telling you. Like, behind the scenes, I am telling you, this is how it's done. Like, there is only one proper way to stream, and that is pantless. Now, you can think that maybe your favorite girls are streaming without pants. You know, your favorite VTuber. Your favorite VTuber, 100% is streaming without pants. Like, I can guarantee this. There is no way you can change my mind. Like, even if you were to show me evidence, like, no, look, Pippa is having her pants, I'd be like, no, that is fake. That is a doctor photo. But yes, you're not wearing pants. Who is wearing pants inside their homes anyway? Of course I'm not wearing pants. Like, I'm streaming. After I finish streaming, I put the pants on. But while I'm streaming, the pants are off. Hello, Senkrad. I appreciate your viewership. It's not just me. Like, I'm telling you, everyone does it. But everyone acts surprised. It's like, oh my god, you're the first person without pants. No, everyone does it. Why? Again, I do not understand why you should. Like, not only are you streaming, but you know no one is going to come into your room, so... By the way, someone gave me a super chat, and the chat doesn't scroll up enough so I can see who it is. But I want to thank you. How did the discussion get to this? I already explained. Like, we were talking about Vic Mignogna. Let me see if it's actually a newspaper about it. Vic Mignogna. Camera. Oh, it didn't get into... Okay. So, there's this guy, you know, like, he used to be the voice of Broly. Christian guy, got cancelled by progressives. And, he was streaming with two ladies. And the camera actually fell down, and you can see his underwear before he turned off the stream. And a lot of people were laughing at him. Other people were saying that, well, he was sexually abusing the ladies or something. But the reality is, like, everyone is streaming without pants. It's not really that... Yeah, Vic Mignogna. No, it's not surprising at all. Yeah, there's no articles about it. That's really strange. I was expecting Kotaku to at least write a piece. Oh, meme copium on Vic Mignogna with no pants. Alright, here we go. This is how they... Okay, so this is how it's being spun. Vic Mignogna exposing himself to women on stream. Man, he wasn't exposing himself. Right? Like... This is how... I mean, technically you can say he was. But in reality, it's obviously a camera malfunction, right? Like, you see him here right? And at one point the camera drops,
for a cat because Lord of War is your...
and you can see, you know, you can't even see anything. It's just right. The camera drops, and it's his underwear. Big whoop, right? Like literally big fucking whoop. But the way they frame it, it's so disingenuous. Like, oh, he was exposing himself. Like, no, it was an accident. So then I started asking. It's like, okay, well, how many people are streaming with pants on, right? And apparently not many. Apparently Nick Richietta is the only person that I know of. Like, out of all the content creators that I know, and I do know a lot, yeah, it was his shorts. Like, it wasn't even like the classic underwear. No, he had shorts on. No, there was no dangerlang. It was just him in his shorts. That's it. And everyone is making a big deal out of it. I mean, yeah, sure, it's embarrassing, but like, hey, it can happen, right? I mean, it's a wardrobe malfunction. This is like when you see a dance of Madonna and, you know, like the strap of her bra pops off and you can see a nipple. You're like, oh, Madonna exposed herself. It's like, come on. Do people not get dressed while at home? No! That's why I'm at home, unless I have guests. If I have guests, I get dressed. Why would I get dressed? At home, I want to be comfortable. Anyway, right. Let me go to some actual articles. Collect Trump cards. By purchasing a Trump card, you agree to the Secret Service doing a security investigation of everyone around you. As you enter the sweepstake for via mail, everyone who has bought an FT is risk of being investigated. Oh, how? Yeah, sure. My God, you know, like, there are some people that are worried about their internet privacy, which is fine, you know, like, you should be. But then, like, there are people that take it over the top, and they're like, oh my God, if you bought the Trump NFT, oh, you're going to get the Secret Service. Listen to this, bigot. I mean, this is my favorite article for today. I'm divorcing my wife over her OnlyFans account. I cannot stand the shame. And of course, people in the media. Let me check to see if. Yeah. People are making it like, oh my God, well, the guy's an asshole. The guy, like, why do you divorce your wife over? Dude, if you're thinking like that, I'm sorry, but you're nowhere near the place where the rest of the normal humans are. Let's put it like that. Like, you are a fringe radical. If you like, imagine mentally looping yourself into thinking that this guy isn't in the right. Like, imagine the mental gymnastics, the level of indoctrination you have to do in order to believe that a guy who is divorcing his wife over OnlyFans, he is in the wrong. I mean, okay, do you honestly think that a woman would put up with this? And by the way, this is gendered, because, like, if it was a woman that did the same, everyone would say, yeah, she's in the right, go slay queen. Like, imagine if you're a woman and your guy whores himself over the internet, right? And she's got, like, this huge fan base of women and stuff. Like, imagine this, okay? Let's say you're a woman that's married to a famous football player, and he's, like, really famous, or the actor who plays 50 Shades of Grey, Christian Grey, right? You're married to the actor that plays Christian Grey. And he starts an OnlyFans, and he's got, like, a lot of women lusting and thirsting after him. Do you think his wife would not have the right to say, you know what, I can't live with the shame? Do you know, because at the end of the day, you know, like, that's the problem. Like, people will say, hey, but what about your wife? Like, little, what about your wife? Like, even when I post, you know, like, something on Twitter that's, like, for example, last time I posted from a friend of mine, which is making a hentai game. He's a Blizzard developer, right? And I wanted to help him sell the game. People immediately ask the legitimate questions like, but what about your wife? You know, like, what about your wife? Like, everything you do starts to impact your partner. So if you're having an OnlyFans account, yeah, I can definitely understand why people would, you know, start looking at the wife and be like, well, why aren't you controlling your husband? What the fuck? And in this case, it's similar. So apparently a man has said that he is filing divorce for his wife after she started an OnlyFans account. And this is the problem. It's a really dividing opinion. There's nothing dividing about it. When you get married, okay, like, no one forces you to get married. No one puts a gun at your head, right? Like, you get married because you want to. Unless it's like a shotgun wedding, But even those, like even the shotgun weddings, usually, at least in most countries, can be nullified because like you didn't give consent. You can't give consent under a shotgun. You know, like if you have a good lawyer, if you get Better Call Saul, he's going to get you out of the shotgun wedding. Like, it makes sense, right? Like the idea of a contract is that you're consenting, and you can't consent while next to a shotgun. So anyway, unless it's a shotgun wedding, no one forces you to get married. So if you got married, you take a vow, and the vow is until death does you apart, and it's also a vow of being faithful. Like you're faithful to the other person. So having an OnlyFans account doesn't strike as faithful to me. And yeah, like this is a guy with self-respect. It doesn't matter if he had the knowledge or not. Well, I assume like he found out at one point, and then he just wanted to have a conversation with her. Some feminists broke up with a guy who was doing calendar modeling. I can understand that. I genuinely can understand. Look, it's completely reasonable that you want your partner to be faithful and not show his body to other people. Whether it's a man or a woman. Like a man wouldn't want his wife to do it, and the wife wouldn't want her husband to do it. Now, there are exceptions to this, I guess. You know, like for example, if the guy is a famous modeler, right? Like he does a lot of, you know, like these calendar modeling things, and you know he models in underwear, and you're aware of it, and you marry him anyway, but like you knew about it. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what can I say? I have no sympathy for you. Like you knew what you were marrying. The same thing with a girl that's an OnlyFans girl, right? Like if she's into OnlyFans, and you marry her, well, I mean, you kind of agree to that lifestyle implicitly. Unless you have like a conversation before the marriage and you're like, look, I'm marrying you with the condition that you drop this shit. Okay, fine. But other than that, it's like, it's a different situation. If my wife was stripping without telling me, yeah, that's a betrayal of more than trust. It's not just you. Like, imagine it, like if a guy does it, right? Like if your wife finds out that you're stripping for a woman. I mean, of course that's ground for a divorce. Unironically, like, that's not even a question worthy of debate. Like, if you start stripping in front of other girls online, yeah, it doesn't matter the justification. Oh, I'm making money. It's not really about letting your woman do it. It's about not having the self-respect to be uncomfortable with it. I mean, I don't even know how to explain why exactly it's a problem. Because, like, some people will say, yeah, but you know, like, she's getting money from simps, and it's nothing personal, or I don't care. It's just wrong. Yeah, like, when you get married, it's not until OnlyFans does us apart. So anyway, when one of his wife's friends told her how much money she makes through sharing adult content to the paid-for subscription, and how freeing it was, she informed her husband that she was going to sign up. I don't understand, like, okay. I'm pretty sure it's freeing, you know, but like, you got married. I'm pretty sure that if I was now to find other girls that have sex with, I would find that freeing. But like, just because it's freeing doesn't mean it's right. Like, it's kind of like, you know, you go to work, and you have to work 8 hours a day in order to get a wage, because you sign a contract. And then you say, oh, you know how freeing it is not to wake up early in the morning and go to work at 12 p.m.? And then you go Pikachu face when the boss is firing you. This is pretty much what's happening, right? Like, you made the contract, which is to marry until death does you apart, and to show respect and fidelity to the other person. And you're cheating on him with the internet. It's literally the same, like going to work, right? You made a contract with your boss. Like, you go to work, and in exchange you get money. But instead of going to work, you're going to work late, or you're not going at all, and you're saying, oh, it's such a freeing experience. Like, I feel so free. Not being, I'm sure you do, but like, you're going to get fired. Don't go with the Pikachu face and write an article about it. Informing her husband, no, I have exclusive rights to that body per the marriage contract. Like, literally. But she has exclusive rights on you as well. Like, it's a two-way street. That's what happens when you get married. Yes, you give exclusive privilege to your wife over your body. He said she was always been a free spirit. Then why the fuck did you get married if you are a free spirit? And revealed her plan to quit her job once she got built a profitable fan base. But he says the decision was not only angered him, but upset their 11-year-old daughter. Upset their 11-year-old daughter. Man, this is such a toxic fucking ideology. Like, the people pushing this shit, you are toxic as hell. I would rather be next to a racist southerner than to be next to one of these people that managed to convince a woman with an 11-year-old daughter that's married that doing OnlyFans is okay. I'm just putting it out there, like, ruining a family. That's what you're doing. You ruin the family. You don't even care about that 11-year-old daughter, do you? Holy shit. And all these people, you know, they keep saying, oh, well, sex work is real work. I really hate that expression. First of all, OnlyFans is not sex work, okay? You're not doing sex. Like, there's no sex in there. You're just painting nudes. But the second thing is, like, sex work is real. Okay, so ask these people, any of them, like, would you be comfortable if your mother became a prostitute? They will universally say no. Then the next question is like, why? Isn't sex work real work? It's like, daddy, what do you want to be when I grow up? A prostitute. You know, like, just, I haven't heard of anyone, you know, that is proud of that profession. And it's not because of the social stigma or anything. It's kind of like the profession that doesn't, like, no one wants to be in that profession. You're pushed into it. It's like, I guess it's kind of the same level as being a garbage collector, but at least the garbage collector does something useful for society, you know? Attention wife, I have decided to sell your kidneys for a Tesla. Apparently, he says the decision not only angered him, but it upset the 11-year-old daughter. It's kind of interesting that the 11-year-old daughter got bullied at school for the mom's career. Like, when I was 11-year-old, I didn't even know what sex was. Like, how did she got... How do 11-year-olds even know what OnlyFans is? They're not even allowed to go there. Did the drag queens tell them at the drag queen story hour? Like, let me tell you about Billy's and her... let me tell you about Susan and her mother. No one wants it because it's literally selling yourself. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like being a man and selling yourself into slavery. You know, like that wouldn't be something that most people would appreciate it if it was legal. Like, let's say it was legal for you to sell your body into slavery. And you know, like, you do it for like a week or so, and then the master can degrade you, can do anything it wants to you. That wouldn't be a profession that people look up to and say, oh, wow, that like, you're a slave? Oh my god, that is so wonderful. A sex worker cannot choose whom she sleeps with. She is under contract. I'm pretty sure she can, actually. I'm pretty sure. So, the way I heard it works. I heard it from other content creators, okay? The way I hear it works. For example, in Germany. Like, in Germany, prostitution is legal. And there are these brothels, which are kind of like a big spa place, right? So they're like this spa resort, like this swimming pool. And you pay an entry fee, and then there are the ladies that are very aggressive coming to you, and they want you to choose them. Because the one that gets chosen, she gets a bonus, so she gets like paid extra based on how many people she had. So technically, I guess like they can choose, right? But like, if they want to make money, then they have to be, well, I mean, it's kind of like any business, right? Like, you want to sell to everyone. You gotta be inclusive, you know, like the ladies of the 90s to have their diversity and inclusivity quota. People can, yeah, I mean, people can still choose who they provide services. That is true. I am curious, though. Like, this is something that makes me very curious. And I think I know the answer to it, unfortunately. If they can discriminate, right? Because if you have a business, and let's say a black person comes in, and you're like, no. Well, then you're discriminating based on race, right? And this was actually a case in the United Kingdom, I remember it, where a porn director got sued by a transgender person. Because they went, I think, on Craigslist, and they wanted a person to have sex with them and shoot a porno movie, right? Like, this was, like, they were hiring a porn actress, basically. And apparently the porn actress that they hired had a dick. And once he found out that there's a willy involved, he said no. Right? So the porn actress that filed for discrimination, saying that they got discriminated for being transgender, I don't know what the court said after that, because that's the only thing that came out in the news. But basically, yes, like, suck the schlong, you bigot, turned out into a thing in the United Kingdom. You know, from bake the cake to suck the schlong. Like, I really enjoyed that particular article. That is just a plus? Really? Is that what you would have sent it? Anyway, what the hell is going on? People getting banned in my chat. Stop banning people in my chat. Anyway. Only in UK can this be a thing? No, there's other, like California, yeah. I can view that being a thing in California, yeah. So, anyway, when one of his wife's friends told her how much money she makes, she wanted to be an OnlyFans, he wrote on Reddit. Oh my fucking god, a Redditor. The fact that people still use Reddit to this day astonishes me. Now I'm strictly against this for two reasons. For my own personal reasons and because we have kids. I told her that I'm uncomfortable dating sex workers and that our eldest has social media and so does her friends. That would ruin her. After his wife posted a poll on social media, he continued. Our daughter screamed at her mother and nasty words were exchanged. They are not talking, and this was 2 weeks ago. My wife went ahead and made the account and already posted some pictures. Yesterday I told her I'm filing for divorce. I'd asked for full custody. I can't stand the shame. And the daughter getting bullied at school. I'm beyond pissed. I never thought my life would lead here. After asking for opinion whether he had overreacted. I love the thing. Like, the man is so gaslit into believing he overreacted. No, he did not overreact. This is a normal, healthy reaction. Like, this is literally the way you should react. In fact, I am going to say like this. If I were to put naughty pictures of myself online and my wife wouldn't react, I would be filing for a divorce. Like, what is wrong with you, woman? Like, why don't you care? Right? Like, you need to be married with a person that literally doesn't give a shit about you in order to be able to do this. One person replied, slam him. What kind of outdated 18th century mindset do you have? Thinking OnlyFans account brings shame upon your children. What is wrong with the 18th century mindset? The 18th century mindset was perfectly healthy and normal. Why do you say, oh, is something wrong because it's in the past? Like, why do you... So you're saying that our mindset now must be really fucked up, judged by the people from 400 years in the future. So fucking bizarre. Your daughter getting teased up because her mom has an OnlyFans account is bullshit. Like, if her daughter is literally being teased up, like, you're denying her lived experiences. Some needs to teach her how to stand up for herself. Yeah, someone needs to teach her how to become a prostitute as well, shouldn't they? That's where this is going. Holy fucking shit. This is why you shouldn't post on Reddit, chat. This is what happens when you post on Reddit. People say that 4chan is bad. Man, like, 4chan at least doesn't gaslight you into doing this type of stuff. Like, 4chan doesn't try to convince your daughter that... your 11-year-old daughter that starting an OnlyFans is the way to go. What happened to believe all women? Well, apparently she's not a woman, she's a girl, so... Amazing how far to the far left these people would have gone. Man, you take this story and you put it back in time 5 years ago, like just 5 years ago, right? No one would just find a problem with it. Everyone would say, yeah, the guy was in the right. No, I mean, look, if your wife starts posting naked pics of herself... But imagine this, you know, like, imagine, like, living in a rural area, right? And your wife just starts taking pictures of herself and posts them into the village town hall, into the village pub, you know, like, and everybody... who's going to be okay with that? Reddit, the daughter should start a Snapchat. Wink, wink. Like, literally. Like, Reddit is genuinely harmful for people. I saw the type of ideas that they pass around there. I saw the advice that Reddit gives to people. If you want to harm someone, you want to bully someone with depression, tell them to go on Reddit and ask for advice. I don't think you're going to find more capable individuals on getting rid of your enemies than the people on Reddit giving advice. Internet attention has ruined an entire generation of women. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think like the overwhelming majority of women do not have OnlyFans. Did you notice that shit? Fortune actually said the same thing you said, V. I'm not joking, really. But it's common sense. I'm not surprised if Fortune would come to the same conclusion, because, like, look, 2 + 2 = 4 on any website, except for Reddit. But like, if you come to the logical conclusion of things, like, yeah, people will agree with you. Like, at least Fortune doesn't tell your 11-year-old daughters to start an OnlyFans. I do stand by that. Have you seen the Sex in the Middle Ages video? No, I didn't. I never thought I would hear someone say something is worse than 4chan. Man, there are many things worse than 4chan, okay? Twitch is worse than 4chan. At least 4chan doesn't try to take your teenage son money away. Right? Like, 4chan doesn't try to milk your teenage son out of every cash he has. So Twitch is the #1 worst website on the internet, in my opinion. #2 is Reddit. And #3 is old Twitter. Before Elon Musk. Right? Like these are the worst websites on the internet. They are radical, extremist websites with a big danger zone on them. Wasn't there a story a few years ago? A parent opened a Patreon with nudes for their child, and it was only allowed because the parent was managing it. Look, just because something is legal doesn't mean it's okay. I haven't heard about the story, but I don't think it's true, right? Like, I don't think you can have underage pictures. But like, even if you could, let's say you're in a country that would let you. Let's say your kid is like 17 or some shit. And the law lets you. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's okay. I forgot about TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, so I can't tell you if it's worse than Twitch or not. But yeah, like, TikTok should also be in the top 3. Reset Era doesn't exist anymore, does it? I don't know. Do they even have user? The thing with Reset Era is that it's unconsequential. Like, no one gives a shit what happens on Reset Era anymore, right? It's not a big deal like it used to. So I don't view it as harmful. But like, there are people that go on Twitch. There are people that go on TikTok. Have you ever been with one of those Twitter spaces? No, but I have seen, especially the ones where black people go and they talk about racismus. I have seen clips of that. They're very hilarious. TikTok is CCP spyware. Yeah, Trump wanted to ban it, but unfortunately he didn't manage to. So Reset Era is okay. You have this website that was called NeoGAF, and that's where the game developers would go in order to shield their products and talk to game journalists. It was censored as fuck, like one of the most censored websites on the internet. If you were like, think of the most far left person you can think of, that person would have been a moderate on NeoGAF, right? So what happens is that eventually there's a sex scandal. I believe the one of the admins of NeoGAF gets Me Too'd, and then all of them, they just go onto this other website called Reset Era, and Reset Era becomes like even more far to the left. Like, they would literally ban people just to keep the rest of the people in line. Like, they were the most censored website on the fucking internet, extreme far left. I mean, there is no other website that can even compare with how far left that was, right? I mean, there was even, I remember, a post about pedophilia, and there was a person saying, you know, I've been a victim of grooming and blah, 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 and this is not okay. And a moderator responds to that post saying, I understand where you're coming from, but due to the fact that you got molested as a kid, you have unconscious biases about pedophilia. Right? Like, that's what we're talking about, right? That was Reset Era. It was, I think you can even go on Know Your Meme and you still can find a couple of posts from Reset Era. Jesus. But like, there was, no shortage of content on Reset Era. I could have gone there any day, just randomly clip something. I could have made 5 videos out of it. That's how dumb it was. So anywho, I scared Arnawa. Arnawa got spooked by my story of Reset Era. Oh, I remember the problem with Reset Era. Remember that there was this scandal coming up, right? So like all the mods apparently, like, they had a secret room on a Discord server, and the problem is, like, some of the mods, they actually held important positions, like police officers. I think like one of them may have been a lawyer, right? And they were talking about not child porn, but like lolly stuff and hentai and all of the other shit. And the way they were talking about also broke the rules of the Discord. Like, if you're an average member in their Discord, you wouldn't be able to talk the things that they were like they were racist, they were sexist, all of that shit, right? And this is what created the scandal, if I remember correct, because this happened a couple of years ago. It's not recent. But anyway, listen to this, right? So, Donald J. Trump, trading cards, sell out. Apparently, he managed to make around $4 million in one day. I can't make fun of him. You know, like, he did carry the cringe. I guess you guys saw the video that I had on my main channel. And you know the cringe with the NFTs. I mean, look at it. It's cringe as fuck. Look at it. Especially when he said it's like major announcement, and I was thinking, oh, he's going to go and announce who his vice president is. He's going to announce who, maybe he's running independent or no, NFTs, right? $99 each. $99 for NFT. Amazing art of my life and career. Compare them to baseball cards. Right. So, I will tell you why this is absolute genius. I can't lie. I mean, when I first heard the announcement, I thought, like, is he mental? Is he going senile? But no, again, he carried that cringe to the finish line. So, this is a fundraising for his campaign, right? Now, you don't just get the NFT. You get an opportunity to have a dinner date with him, or to play golf at one of his golf courses. But more importantly, you're funding his campaign, right? Like, that's why you do it. It's the same thing with AOC. Like, AOC is selling $50 t-shirts and shit like that. Like, the reason she's doing, allegedly, is to fund her campaign. Now, the people who do this, they don't, like, necessarily want the NFT. They want to support Trump. The NFT is just like a bonus. And apparently, like, you can sell it. So, presumably, it may raise in value, but I don't know, like, how many people do that. Like, how many people buy a Trump NFT thinking that it's going to be like $500 in the future, even though potentially it can. I don't know, but I genuinely, like, do not see this as a bad thing when he actually managed to sell out within a couple of hours. No, it's cringe, but as I said, like, he carried the cringe to the finish line. Can you invite Milo for dinner? Oof. Like, can you imagine if one of the people winning the NFT is a Nick Fuentes character or something like that? The art isn't that bad, but the art is cringe. So, apparently, ahead of the launch of the NFT, some predicted that Trump's major announcement could be him naming who his next running mate will be. Instead, Trump revealed he moved into the NFT game and urged his supporters to buy his Trump digital cards, which he described very much like a baseball card. If you think about it, you know, like, baseball cards, they're really as ridiculous as NFTs. I mean, like, some people will say, yeah, but, like, you get to hold the baseball. Who cares? Dude, it's a little plastic card that some of them worth $1,000. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. There are some things that you can't even imagine they will catch on. Like, if you take me 100 years in the past and someone tells me, hey, let's print like some cards with photos of people on it, and we're going to make a lot of money. Although, like, if you think about it, the people making the baseball cards, they didn't make that much money. Like, you can have a baseball card that's worth like $10,000. But you as the company printing it, you don't get to make shit. Like, when you sell your baseball card, it's cheap, right? Like, you get the same price. The person getting it, he's the one that can sell it for 10 grand, not you. Collector's items don't make sense. Yeah, literally, I do not understand collectors. I just do not, like, my mind cannot wrap around the idea of collecting stuff. Like, especially if it's something useless. Like, look, if you're collecting old cars, okay? I kind of get that, because, like, you're collecting old cars and you can just, okay, well, I want to drive this car, and you're driving your old car around and you get people looking at you. Fine, I get it. Collecting guns. Like, okay, you go out and you fire a musket. I get it. But, like, collecting stamps. Why would you collect stamps? You know, like, what do you get? Like, collecting baseball cards. Is the same as paper money? I don't know. It is just weird. I don't get it. Damn. I ran out of material for today's stream. Let me see if I can find something else. By the way, what do you guys think about Elon Musk and the journalist debate? So Elon Musk made this new rule. I think that the rule is stupid, by the way. Which bans real-time doxing. Right? So, like, you're not allowed to say where a person is. And the reason that I find it weird, it's like, okay, but, like, what if the person is at the Oscars? and you say, all right, well, this person is at the... Is that doxing? I guess, like, what he is trying to say is that I mean, the thing is, like, this rule, I just do not understand how it can be enforced. Right? Like, let's say, I'm not a notable person, like, I'm not a public person, right? But I do happen to be at a party, and, one of my exes tweets, hey, V is at a party. Is that, like, can I get her suspended from Twitter? It's just weird, you know? I guess you can say it's kind of... The thing that I have a problem with is that it's a rule that's clearly made up in order to get people banned. Because I get it, you know, like, it's not nice to have journalists telling, you know, like, hey, this is where your kid is at, and then something bad happens to your kid. Like, I get that. But at the same time, like, is this a rule you're going to be able to enforce? It's not coordinates. Oh, so, like, if you say he's at the Oscars or he's at a party, then it's fine because it's not coordinates. But if you go, like, he's at the GPS location and you give the coordinates to the Oscars, then it's a problem? If someone wants to send an assassin to your party, then yes, it's doxing. Yeah, but the journalists actually want to send assassins towards Elon Musk. I think it's about tracking rather than random situations. The thing is, like, he did unban them. So, first of all, it wasn't a ban. Okay? Like, it was a 7-day suspension for everyone that did it. Secondly, he asked people, and this is the difference between the right and the left. Many people on the right, including myself, Sticks, X, and Hammer, many others, said that, yeah, you shouldn't ban them. You should just give them a suspension, but you shouldn't ban them. And I do agree, like, you shouldn't ban them for especially when it's a rule that's made up. Now that everyone knows it's a rule, now it's different. Okay? But yeah, but you also have, like, famous celebrities and paparazzis and stuff. I mean, you know, this thing like you're doxing people. I don't know. Like, oh, they know that he has a private jet. Like, okay, so if I know that Elon Musk is flying with a private jet, like, what can you do about it? I mean, how many people have access to a bazooka? Like, malice intent is part of the context. The thing is, like, I would wish these rules... Like, first of all, it's such an arbitrary rule. It's the same thing like... you're not allowed to show hacked material. Like, you're not allowed to publish material that comes from hacking. So it's such a bullshit rule, isn't it? But anyway, right, so it's a made-up rule. And the thing is, like, he made it one day and enforced it an hour later. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, you should make a rule and then allow time for people to adjust to the new rule before you enforce it. Because that's what the old Twitter did. Like, if you're just going to make a rule now and apply it 1 second later... Might as well just not make the rule and just ban people. You'd be surprised what I can do with a pen laser. Get the fuck out. There's nothing a pen laser can do to a private jet. Come on. Tracking means keeping tabs on somebody's location over time and giving updates. Yeah, but did the journalists actually did that? Like, were they giving, like, constant updates to to... They only came about this because they targeted his kid. No, I know that. Like, I get that. And it's fucked up, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Which is why I do think they should get a suspension. But you should also make a rule and then allow people to be even aware that the rule exists before you apply it. They don't have bazookas, but some insane guy could be working at the tower in an airport. They are gonna land. And you can... Oh, come on. If you have a guy that's already at the airport, like, he already knows it's Elon's plane, right? Like, if he wants to fuck with that level, like, he's going to do it. But, like, what type of person working at the air tower is going to risk his life in jeopardy in order to just, you know, have a win on Elon Musk? Oh, okay, so I apparently wasn't aware of the story. Yeah, if they were tracking him live, then I can understand why he was pissed. Yeah, okay, so that's different. Like, if they were literally tracking him live, yeah, I don't think any journalist would actually like that. So, yeah, if you have an account tracking a person live, then yeah, I get why it would be... Like, because it's not really free speech, right? Like, you're not trying to say anything... politically motivated. Like, there's no reason for anyone to track someone live that I can think of. There is absolutely no situation where you can say, oh yeah, well, this is needed for a person to exercise their free speech. It is doxing, right? Like, it literally is. And doxing was against Twitter's terms of service since before Elon Musk. Honestly, he shouldn't even make a new rule. He should have just banned them for doxing. Even a pen-like laser can cause at least temporary blind... Dude, if you can manage... that, okay, Mike Savage, I love it when people in the chat like to be contradictory with me just for the sake of contradicting. How the fuck can you, with a pen-like laser, manage to accurately pinpoint it into the eye of the pilot of a fucking private jet? Like, please explain to me. Like, first of all, the angle you would have to be in. Right, like the jet is flying on top. How are you from the ground going to... And if you're not on the ground, like let's say you're at the airport, how would you get past security? Just to have your little private jet over there? Come on. Like, let's be real. There is jack shit you can do with a laser pen to a private jet. Although, funny enough, there was a story once. It was a story from the United States. There was... Okay, so there's two stories. There was a guy which used a laser jet to a police helicopter and almost got blown to bits. Because, like, the police thought that he's got a weapon or some shit. No, sorry, it wasn't the police helicopter. It was a military helicopter and the guy was in Afghanistan. It was, like, some kid with a laser, right? And then you also had the the case where, okay, this is more interesting. You had the police using one of those radars that detect speed, you know, to monitor traffic, and the Air Force pilot, like his plane detected the equipment from the cop as if it's hostile and was about to launch a rocket at it, but the guy didn't confirm. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Why, thank you, Say Brav. You just made my day. Didn't get many super chats today, so makes me happy. Look at this lady, by the way. This is such a bizarre thing. Like, I really dislike these type of people. Like, by the way, every time I see these people, they're not nice people. And I grew up poor, okay? Like, I grew up poor, and I didn't have to do this. So this lady is very proud. Like, this is one of the things, right? Like, she's proud because she cuts off the excess food before weighing it at the supermarket. So she goes to the supermarket, and she cuts off the food that she doesn't like, right? In order to save how much? How much are you saving by doing this? How much are you saving? Now, in my country, there is a rule. Like, there are laws in place. And I found them stupid because I was like, who the fuck does this, right? But apparently there are people who do it. So the laws in place tell you that you shouldn't manipulate the product at the supermarket. So for example, if you have a broccoli or a lettuce, you're not allowed to cut part of the lettuce. If you don't like that lettuce, you can pick another one, but you're not allowed to modify or cut it, right? And this is like, that law is made for this lady. I genuinely don't understand, right? You got these people that are such cheapskates. Unfucking believable cheapskates. You know, like the type of people that scold you for not turning the light off in the house. But then you also see the same people leaving the television open, like the plasma TV open, which costs more electricity than the lights. Or, you know, like every single goddamn time that I see these cheapskates, they do something that wastes more money than the money that they're trying to save. This is no different than those people licking ice cream in stores. No, I think the ones licking ice cream in stores are worse. Right? Like, at least this doesn't hurt anyone. It's just like poor form, I guess. It's like you're because like she doesn't look that poor if she has access to social media, right? Like it's not the type of person that steals a loaf of bread in order to feed themselves. Like it does seem like a person that's of some means in order not to have to do that, but she does it anyway. So yeah, I would definitely say that people who are like that, they're not nice people. I know people like that in real life. They're not nice, almost without exception. He didn't troll you too, did he, V? Who are you talking about, Turkey Baster? Who would have trolled me? If you buy potatoes, are you allowed to wash the dirt off to save weight? That is literally in the same category as what that person did, yes. She can't be poor if she's living in the US. I have to agree with that. As an Eastern European, I have to agree with that. Here, lettuce comes pre-wrapped. Here you have like pre-wrapped lettuce, but you also have the lettuce you can pick, so. It's about the principle of it. I'll spend $100 on electricity before a single penny on incredible food sort of thing. The soup Nazi didn't need to keep a picture on the wall was enough to keep unwanted customers out. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I mean, there are people who would just, you know, be incredibly cheap at shopping, but then when you go to their house, like every electrical appliance is plugged in. I just don't understand these types of people. You wrap lettuce. Yeah, there are lettuces that are wrapped. I think like the reason the lettuce is wrapped is, first of all, to protect it from, you know, the environment, dust and other stuff. But then it's also wrapped in order to keep it fresh longer. Like it's usually wrapped in a sealed, in a place with no air. so that it stays longer. Yeah, it depends. So we have two types of lettuce. Like, we have the wrapped one and we have the unwrapped one. It literally depends. Wasn't there a show about cheap people? Man, if there was, I've never seen it. The soup Nazi would get shot and robbed in New York City. Man, I saw those. Yeah, it keeps up the moisture. I saw the thing with people selling fried rats in New York City. I'm still curious, like, if that's something that happens, or if it was like just one off, like someone just managed to find the crazy person. Still, you know, like, the price of the lettuce includes the non-usable part. I mean, cutting it off is sorry. Like, there was someone that said that, oh well, there is an uncommon allergy to broccoli, but it exists. So if you cut the broccoli, like, someone else can use the same knife and get allergic. Rats, we are the rats. Are you from New York City for real? You know, like, the thing is, like, this is what I don't get. Like, if you're the type of person that likes to cut the broccoli at the supermarket, right? Why do you have to brag about it? Like, most people view that as, it's not necessarily like you're being cheap, but like, you're not making that much of a saving, right? Like, you're just, I don't know how to define, but like, you're being a Scrooge, right? It's kind of like that. I don't know the soup Nazi lore, but apparently a lot of people in my chat do. Yeah, the broccoli Karen. They like to think of themselves as smart. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's like, oh, I'm so smart, I cut the lettuce at the supermarket. Sorry, I cut the broccoli, right? Like, I'm going to the broccoli and I'm just cutting this. And I'm like, you're not smart. I saw a woman do something similar with garlic. She would open them and select the nicest cloves, and leaving everything she didn't want in the basket. Sometimes people deserve a high five in the face with the check. Whatever. I remember, speaking of people exaggerating, I remember going to shopping once during COVID. And there was this lady that was dressed as if the apocalypse was happening. Like, she had a sweater, like, it was the middle of the summer. And she had the sweater, she had the jacket, she had, like, thick gloves on. She had, not just the mask, but, like, one of those things that welders have. And I accidentally bumped into her, and immediately she was like, sorry, social distancing, Jesus fucking Christ, oh my god. Like, I'm social distancing from you, even when COVID isn't a factor. Like, I want to social distance from you for the rest of my fucking life. I want to social distance so bad, woman. So bad, you know? Like, I just wanted to look at her and say, I never wanted to social distance as much as I want from you. Like, do you know how bad I want to social distance? Being a Scrooge is good for the pocket, and I'm falling at it. Thank you, Stu. I appreciate it. Stu is not a Scrooge. Oh, it's called a face shield. I fucking god. Like, some of those people, like most people here in Romania. In fact, Romania was probably one of the top countries in the world which defied the mandates. We had like a 30% vaccination rate. Like, it was really bad. Very bad here. Awful. But when you saw a person that was acting as if the apocalypse is upon us, everyone was mocking them. Like, even the people with the masks were mocking them. V, if COVID is back again, my Twitter is full of people talking about vaccines. I will tell you this, right? Like now that Twitter allows for people to talk about anything, I pray that COVID would, not COVID, but the mandates. I pray that the mandates would come back just to see the conversations on Twitter. We received face shields from our high school in Bucharest. How many of you actually wore face shields? Yeah, exactly. Look like at Cosmin, right? Like he's from Romania, and it's like, oh, my high school gave us face shields. Nobody used it. Well, no fucking shit. Yeah, Sweden was great. I think like Sweden was #1 and Romania was #2 when it comes to lockdowns. I don't think people were terrorized. I think like people weren't allowed to speak. Like they were compelled into. Like if you had concerns, there was nowhere you can grievance them. Like you're being gaslit to insanity. Was what it was. I wonder if it wasn't for Ukraine, how long this shit would have gone. Like if it wasn't for the conflict in Ukraine, because that's when it stopped, at least here in Europe. The moment Putin invaded, it's like, okay, well, we have refugees now. We can't screen them at the border. God damn it! Like let's lift the mandates. Let's lift the lockdowns. By the way, did you guys know that you must have heard about the Daily Stormer, right? You must have heard about Andrew Anglin. And the ADL will tell you about him if you haven't. Do you know that Andrew Anglin is on Twitter? Like right now he's got a Twitter account. Do you know who doesn't have a Twitter account? H3H3 and CNN journalists. So we're living in a world where Andrew Anglin has a Twitter account, but CNN journalists and H3H3 doesn't. That's wow. You know, like things I didn't expect, things I didn't predict for 2022. Those are the two of them. It's okay, Kydra. Kai, now you know. Things I did not expect in 2022. I'm curious what we're going to get in 2023, though. Romania was bullshit. You had to fill out forms. That did not even happen in Germany. Yeah, in Romania, we had to fill out forms for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, we had to fill out forms. And by the way, the cops that decided to go after the people who did not fill out the forms, they're getting sued. They're having to pay. Right? But I'm not proud of it. I do agree. 2 weeks of filling out forms was bad. Now, you have in Germany and Austria some of the worst lockdowns in Europe. Shut the fuck up. Was it in Austria? I think in Austria it was where they wanted to pass legislation to make the people who don't get a vaccine to go to prison. Like to make it illegal to be a human being without the vaccine. Don't tell me about Germany, please, or Austria. Germany made their counselor... Like, look, when Hitler came to power, I'm not even kidding about this. Like, you can look it up, you can fact check it. It's completely legit. When Hitler came to power, he had less power than the health Führer in Germany at the beginning of the pandemic. Like their health minister had so many powers, it was fucking ridiculous. And they were talking about Viktor Orban and him being a dictator. Literally, Austria was the worst country in Europe when it came to the pandemic. Unequivocally. I think like China is the worst country in the world. Then you may have Australia. Potentially Israel. But like in Israel, the people actually wanted that shit. Like in Israel, initially, they wanted not to have lockdowns. But people protested to make lockdowns a thing. Right? So like that would... at least be understandable. Like, hey, you know, we're in charge, but like the people want us. Like, what can we do? Thank you for the donations, Lucius Cornelius. What EU country was giving tickets if you didn't? No country gave tickets if you didn't take the jobs. There were countries where you'd get fired, and there were countries where they were planning to arrest people. But like there wasn't any country that gave you tickets if you did not take the job. What about New Zealand? No, New Zealand is in the top as well. Anyway, right. Time for me to go to bed. I had fun with you guys, but our fun has come to an end. Am I doing a Christmas live stream? Probably. I don't know if I have guests, so I can't tell. But if I don't have guests, I may do it. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. And as usual, I will see you.